Hey guys, now that my Dark Souls 3 phase is nearing completion, I decided to talk about a different game today. Spider-Man PS4. Playing a game that didn't make me want to smash my controller every 5 minutes was really refreshing, and the boss battles in Spider-Man were more cinematic than difficult. But this game is awesome, and I'm going to rank those boss battles anyway. The criteria I will use when ranking these fights consist of mechanics, story significance, and just how plain fun they are to play. A note of disclaimer before I start, this list is heavily biased by my opinion, and my list might not match yours. This list is for purely entertainment purposes and an excuse for me to talk about a game that I love. If you want to discuss how our opinions differ, feel free to leave a comment down below. Okay, now that that's over, let's get into my rankings. In the beginning, I wasn't sure if this guy actually counted as a boss battle, but I added him anyway. His mechanics are identical with the large thug type enemy in the game, the only difference being he has 2 cutscenes devoted to him. He has little impact on the story other than being a nuisance to Spider-Man, and it wasn't too fun to fight another thug in a fake Rhino costume. Those are the reasons why fake Rhino here lands himself at the bottom of my list. I decided to add the chase encounters onto my list because they are the only way some major characters actually encounter Spider-Man. Screwball's chase, in my opinion, is the worst out of the 3. While yes, mechanics-wise, Screwball presents the widest array of obstacles, consisting of the photobombs, the actual bombs, and the drones, but her significance and entertainment hold her back, exponentially. First of all, story significance-wise, Screwball is a side mission in the DLC, and she is totally optional. So the player, if they choose, won't even have to come across her if they want to finish the DLC's main story. Plus, Screwball was not a fun side mission at all. Her rudimentary tasks were some of the most aggravating in the game, and her whole evil plot was to get more followers, which is pretty daft in my opinion. With these reasons, plus it's a chase encounter, caused Screwball to land the 16th spot on my list.
You only caught me because I wanted you to catch me! Look how many followers I gained! Yes!
In 15th place comes the Shocker's chase. Now, as the exact opposite of Screwball's chase, the Shocker lacks in mechanics, but gains from importance and enjoyment value. The Shocker's chase has 2 phases. The first, where the Shocker just runs from you, and then after you catch him, he will begin to fire off projectiles in his second phase. This is the first chase that the player will encounter in the game, so it is very easy. Now, the Shocker is part of the main game, already gaining points above Screwball, and he's also connected to the Demon Gang, who are the main antagonists in the first half of the game. The Shocker is fun to chase as you get more used to the swing mechanics of the game. With the reasons above, the Shocker chase lands itself in 15th place.
You know what, Herman? You have like 0 personality, but your suit is awesome. Can we talk design details? Maybe later.
The Black Cat chase fixes the problems that other 2 chases suffer from. The Black Cat has no shortage of tricks up her sleeve that keep the player on their toes. From EMPs, smoke grenades, and her claws, she throws quite a few obstacles at the player in order to escape. She has 3 distinct phases. The first part, she disables the player's web shooters, forcing a parkour-esque chase, which can definitely shake things up since a normal chase can get monotonous. Then you chase her through the subway, dodging electricity and falling debris, before finally chasing her throughout the city, shooting webs to try to slow her down. The Black Cat is also a major player in the first part of the DLC, and spoiler alert, at the time of this chase, the player suspects that she has a child who might be Spider-Man's. I also enjoyed the chase because it made sense in terms of the Black Cat's character. She wouldn't have a boss battle, she would definitely try to run. So because of the many differing obstacles throughout the chase, the story importance, and because it's accurate to the character, the Black Cat chase finds itself at the best chase and in 14th place. Now, we move on to the real bosses. Mr. Negative, or Martin Lee, is the main antagonist for the first half of the game, and we as a player will cross his path a multitude of times. The first time Spider-Man fights Martin, it is more of a spectacle than a fight. Story-wise, it is a very crucial part because it shows how strong Peter's will is when he overcomes Martin's seductive powers. The fight is also the first time the theme of failing a friend is addressed, and Miles' father dying and Martin Lee's turn to evil. Mechanics-wise, the fight boils down to fighting some ghost enemies, occasionally dodging Martin's energy blasts and destroying the giant mask. The fight isn't challenging at all, and it didn't even seem like an actual fight. That is why the first encounter with Mr. Negative ranks in at 13th place. Unfortunately, the second time we come face to face with Mr. Negative, it isn't much better. While yes, we do technically fight him, this time it's mostly dodging energy blasts. The fight takes place in 3 train cars, which are basically each phase. In the first car, you just attack and dodge his 1 energy blast. Then, when you transition to the second car, he begins to utilize much bigger energy blasts, forcing the player to dodge up and to the sides. Every attack is clearly telegraphed and gives ample time to dodge, making it more tedious than challenging. In the third car, he combines all the attacks and it ends with a couple of quick time events, which one of them does reference the train scene from the second Spider-Man movie of the Sam Raimi trilogy, which, in my opinion, is awesome. Mr. Negative's significance is still the same as the first fight, but the second encounter edged out the first by actually being a fight. Thankfully, the third fight with Mr. Negative is much better than the first 2, and is listed much higher on the list. So with all the reasons, the second fight against Mr. Negative comes in the 12th spot.
Next stop, prison.
I honestly was surprised to see Taskmaster ranked this low on the list, but when I look back at both of his fights, it was very clear. First of all, both fights are eerily similar, which is disappointing for a character who is supposed to memorize fighting styles and improve himself. You fight Taskmaster when you're halfway done with his tasks and when you have completed all of them. The way to beat him both times is to fling items at him or stun grenades, and to dodge to whip him. This allows the player to get 3 to 5 hits in. The problem is you can run out of items to throw, and could end up waiting for him to throw his grenades, which can become very boring. However, it is pretty neat to see him utilize some of Spidey's own moves against him. I just wish they had added more of that. Taskmaster is a side mission, making him not very important, but it was fun to fight him, plus a nice surprise when I first played the game. That is why I put Taskmaster at the 11th place.
An organization hired me to see if you're worth recruiting.
I'd rather be Jonah Jameson's foot masseur than work for anyone who'd hire you.
Your loss. They pay 6 figures. Guess some people just deserve to be poor.
6 figures? Nah.
Okay guys, this is part 1 of my rankings. Next week I will be back with the top 10 boss fights in Spider-Man. Thank you for watching my in-depth analysis of these mundane bosses, and I promise we only have gems from here on out. Thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you next week. See ya!